Hi Scorpio, welcome to your week ahead horoscope with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, my readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant sign. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Scorpio, this is for you. And I always advise that you watch all three to get a clearer, more complete picture of how they're going to speak to you. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody, and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So for your key to the week this week, you have the Strength card, right? Very often strength doesn't just talk about strength and courage, it also talks to and about your physical body. So this week I want you to really look after your physical self. I want you to really do all of the things that we know we should do, right? Get plenty of rest, get plenty of water, you know, do some exercise, yada yada yada. Like this week, really look after your physical self. Your earthbound vehicle is calling out for some attention. Now that being said, one of the other ways that I like to interpret this card is this is where you need to dig deep, right? The difference between, say, the Strength card and the Fool card is the Fool just kind of jumps in because they don't know any better. It's like babies and kids, right? They can jump off of the stairs because they're fearless. They don't realize this is probably going to lead to tears, right? They don't think about that stuff. Whereas when we're older and wizened and seasoned, we know, right, that certain actions can take us down certain paths. And because of that need for self-preservation, etc., we tend to get a bit more cautious. I see the Strength card as often saying to us, you got to dig deep into that place of strength and courage to go for something that is being presented to you, right? So it might take you... it might take you out of your comfort zone. Something about this week might take you out of your comfort zone. For your actions and options, before we get into that, if you haven't seen it, please check out your life path numerology reading for October. Really, I love doing these and I work really hard on them, and it's to give you a different understanding of how the energy of the month is going to affect all of us in some way, shape or form. There will be a link to a video somewhere to show you how to calculate your life path number if you don't know what it is already. With that being said, enjoy those and let me know what you think. For your actions and options, you have the Five of Pentacles, right? So this week, in a lot of ways, I'm going to be really honest with you. I'll go back to what I said to you, right? The first thing that I said to you was look after your physical body. Aside from all of its financial implications, the Five of Pentacles can sometimes be can see us out of pocket due to an accident. Please look after your physical self this week. I cannot stress it enough. Your physical being needs to be looked after. That's not to say that you're in danger. This could be something that comes up completely out of the blue. Maybe you shut your fingers in a door. Touch wood. I truly hope that I'm wrong on that front. It could be anything, right? So just really look after your physical self this week. That being said, on a financial level, the Five of Pentacles can see an unexpected expense come up for you this week. And it's like, unfortunately, because it is the Five of Pentacles, you might just have to absorb the cost. I'm really sorry to say that. For your communications and conversations, you have the Star card right underneath so the Star card is Aquarius ruled, right underneath the card that represents Leo. Very, very interesting, right? So when it comes to partnerships, relationships and connections of the professional or academic sphere, there is hope. There's light at the end of the tunnel. For those of you that are hoping to find new work, for those of you that are employed, there are possibilities here that come through the network of friends, which could be great. For those of you that are self-employed business owners, etc., this is really nice. Like whatever you're planning to launch out into the digital sphere will be greatly received. Now, the challenge that you're going to have is you're going to want immediate big results, and I'm sorry to say they're not there, right? The results, like you'll get a snippet, it's the Star card, you'll get a glimpse of how good and wonderful this could be, but you're not going to get all of it now. So don't expect the big payoff from whatever it is that you're launching into the world just yet, especially with 5 planets retrograde at this moment in time. All right. So as they start to go forward, and 4 of those planets will go direct this month, right? So we're going to slowly but surely pick up and build steam. All right. Take that into consideration. For those of you that are retired or no longer working, this would be a good month to dive in, right? Believe it or not, and I can't remember the name of the study, but I'm sure it was done in either 2000 and it was, I'm sure it was between 2016 and 2018, but there was a study that was done that attributed the longer people lived nowadays are the people that can adapt to new technologies. And so, you know, this month, if technology is something that frightens you or scares you or holds you back or it's an Achilles heel, this month, get ready, jump in, right? For your love and relations, you have the 7 of Cups. This is not an easy card, especially with that 5 of Pentacles there. Now, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term relationships, the big thing that I want to say to you is, this week you could be trying to put too much on the relationship. Like, you know, we've got to do this, and we've got to be partners, and we've got to be parents, and we've got to and, you know, before you know it, maybe your partner just says, look, you know what, no more. Like, you might find that your partner is slightly at odds with you this week, and it becomes a bit of a battle of wills, and that's like, that's likely to be because you're trying to, it's like you're throwing too much at what needs to be done, when really what you really need to do is simplify it. And if I'm honest, maybe tap into that Strength card and deal with what the issues really are. It's kind of like, you know, when you see those, what's a really good example? If any of you ever watched Desperate Housewives, Brie Vanderkamp comes to mind. Like, you could try to put every single plaster on it and, you know, present that everything's wonderful, and it's just not. Sit with it how it is. You guys are Scorpios, like sun, moon, or ascendant. You're about as gritty and as real and raw as it gets, right? And so for you to be acting in this way, maybe it's because Venus is in Libra. Maybe it's because Venus is in Libra. Maybe it's because Venus is in Scorpio, so it's softening your stinger in some way. But it's like, and I'm a big fan of people that are able to change and adapt. I think it's wonderful that you're trying. I just feel like whatever you're doing at the moment, if you're in a relationship, it's an uncomfortable fit. It's like you're trying to force your circular wonderfulness into a square hole. It's not going to happen, all right? And that 7 of Cups, it's like, rather than just sit and say, you know what, I don't really know what the fucking answer is right now, you're like trying to throw everything at it to make it work. Why? And I know everyone's going to be like, rap. For those of you that are single, you got the 5 of Pentacles in the actions and options. That's about you. You've got the 7 of Cups here. I don't think you are necessarily seeing yourself clearly in the way that you present yourself, right? So there's, and I say this, I hazard a risk at saying this, but one thing I love about the Scorpios that I know, that I'm, you know, good friends with, or, you know, have close ties with, I can tell them when they're not in their own authenticity, and they won't take offense to it. They'll, you know, maybe sit and stew and be like, what did you say? Bitch, I'll kill you. And then they'll come back and say, actually, you know what, I'll give it some thought. And I'm say this with no disrespect, I actually say it out of pure love. There's something slightly off kilter this week about the way that you're presenting yourself in relationships. Be careful that you don't lose yourself in this. All right, for your money and materials, you have the Knight of Swords. Okay, so for those of you that have children or have children in your wider family, an air sign, likely to be an Aquarius teenager, is going to feature this week. And I have to say, this looks like somebody that tends to be a bit of a rebel. It looks like somebody that may also be in the throes of rebelling in a way that is going to cost them later. You know, like when you're young, you think you're invincible, right? And you don't really think too much about the consequences until you want to go for a certain job that says we can't take somebody that's got a criminal record. That's not to say that, you know, but there is something about an air sign teenager, likely to be an Aquarius this week, that needs to be looked at, and quickly. Now, that being said, when it comes to your finances and your money, be careful this week, about spending money on the internet. You might put a payment through and it might go through twice and charge you. Whatever you're buying online over the airways, be very, very careful with how you spend money online this week. Obviously this month, it keeps coming out, so just take that for the message for the whole month. When it comes to your physical health and vitality, in a lot of ways, I would say this week, please, I cannot stress enough, whatever you have to do, take your time. If you're rushing this week, the chances are you could end up, I hope I'm wrong, but please look after your physical person. Wherever you're going, whatever you're doing, be very conscious about it. And then finally, for your home and environment, I mean, to be honest with you, it looks like you're so busy this week that you're not doing much at home or with the home. If you're in a place that's in a lockdown, I would say this week, dedicate yourself to improving the home in some way, shape or form. Your new moon message, so especially if you're an ascendant Scorpio, that new moon is taking place in your 12th house, right? A new moon, gosh, Raf, come on. A new moon is a dark moon, right? Which means that there's already no light. We're not sure. With the connections that this moon itself is making, we've got Mercury retrograde, we've got Mars in the mix. It's going to be dicey, right? And Mars is your ruling planet, especially from the ancient astrology perspective. So whether you're a sun, moon or ascendant Scorpio, this week, be very careful and very gentle with yourself. And for your new moon message, you've got the gate 3 and begin, right? So whatever you get this week, like I said, it's just a glimpse, it's just a seed. There's no, whether it's good, whether it's bad, don't take this week as all you're going to get, all right? That's probably the best piece of advice I can give you, especially around that new moon. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week as best as you possibly can. Please look after yourselves. Take care, and I'll see you soon.